Do you remember the Apple IIe, like that gigantic green screen computer that was basically in every elementary school library, computer lab in the country when we were younger? That was amazing. You had to load the program from a floppy disk, which if you don't know what a floppy disk is, I'm going to need you to just trust me on the nostalgia here and remember the teachers always very worried we would like break it and mess it up, which for good reason. Anyway, if you know what I'm talking about, then you also probably remember the game Oregon Trail. And for those who blocked it out, Oregon Trail was a very simple game. The whole concept was you're a pioneer heading west. You pick your profession, you name your family members, you load up your wagon with supplies, and you head out across the frontier with nothing but confidence and a questionable amount of ammunition. You had no idea what you're doing, right? And then something, happened. Your ox would drown crossing a river. Your wagon wheel would break in the middle of nowhere. Someone got dysentery and you hit a fork in the road with zero information and you guessed wrong. And guess what? You just die. Game over. And here's the thing, and where I'm going with this. Well, that's exactly how most people approach entrepreneurship around 50 or middle age. They load up the wagon, they head out full of confidence and good intentions, and they hit something they never saw coming. Not because they're not smart enough, not because they're too old, but because nobody gave them the map or told them what to do. Today, I'm giving you the map, the roadmap to the game, if you will. So if you've been sitting in a job you've outgrown, seriously thinking about doing something of your own, but the whole thing, it just feels too risky, too late, or you just don't even know where to start. Here's what nobody tells you. Entrepreneurship, it's a game with levels and rules and extra lives. And once you know the levels, not just that they exist, but which one you're on, the fear changes completely. You stop feeling lost and start feeling oriented and like you're on the right path. I'm Gavin. I'm 28 years into the corporate sales game, over 50 million sold. And right now at 51, I'm in the middle of my own escape. I'm currently on level 5 of this exact framework. I'm not teaching this from the finish line. I'm in it with you. I'm going to hand you the full 8-level map in the next roughly 12 minutes. So here's the old story most people are running at. Entrepreneurship is for young people, people with nothing to lose, people who can afford to fail at 27 and start over at 29. You're 50. You've got a mortgage, a lifestyle, maybe kids, probably a decent 401k you don't want to touch. The risk feels insane. I get it. I thought the same thing. But here's what I wish someone had told me. And here's what the data actually says. A 50-year-old founder is twice as likely as a 30-year-old to build a company that gets acquired or goes public. Twice. And baby boomers on average pay themselves 6 times what Gen Z founders make in their first year of business. 6 times. The game isn't stacked against you. It's actually stacked in your fate. You just didn't know because you weren't playing. And here's the reframe that I would think is going to change how you think about this. When you know the levels, failure stops being personal. It becomes informational. You're not a failed entrepreneur. You ran out of lives on level 3 without knowing level 3 existed. That's a completely different conversation. So here are the 8 levels. I'm going to walk you through each one. What it is, where most people get stuck, and how to know when you pass that level. And stick with me through level 3 because that one almost stopped me completely. And honestly, the answer surprised me. Every game starts here. And before you do anything else, before you pick a business idea, before you build a website, before you tell anybody what you're doing, you need to know who you're going in as, what you're actually good at, what experience do you have that somebody else would pay for? What will you absolutely not do, even if it makes money? And this is the one most people skip. What problems have you personally lived through that other people are still struggling with right now? I'll tell you how this played out for me. When I started building what became Corporate Escape Lab, I wasn't thinking about a business model. I was thinking about my own problem. I was stuck. I've been in corporate for over 25 years. I knew I wanted out. I had no idea how to do it without blowing up my life. So I started building the thing I wish I had and that I existed when I needed it. And that's level 1. You pick the player that's actually you, not the player you think you should be, not the one that looks good on paper, the version of you that's walked through something specific and came out the other side with hard-won knowledge somebody else needs. Okay. And the best business you can build is the one you wish existed when you needed it most. Write that down real quick. If you're watching this and you're not sure yet which player you are, I built a free assessment specifically for this. It's called the Reset Assessment. It takes about 5 minutes and it tells you exactly where you are right now and what your natural starting point looks like. It's at corporateescapelab.com/reset. Links in the description. It's completely free. So go grab it after the video. Okay. Level 2, you know who your player is now. Now you have to decide which game you're actually playing. Think about it like Monopoly. Everybody's playing the same game, but which properties you go after, which board position you choose, which corner of the market you plant your flag in, that determines everything about how the rest of the game goes. For me, this was figuring out what I wanted the business to actually do for people. And more importantly, where the gap was. I wasn't the first person to talk about leaving corporate. There's tons of great information out there. But I looked around and I saw something. Most of the people in the space were either retired professionals writing like blog posts or young online business coaches who never set foot in a corporate building. Nobody was in the middle of their own escape, documenting in real time with 25 years of experience to know what everybody's going through. That was the board I could own. The common mistake at level 2, picking a board that's too crowded, too broad, or one where there's generally no gap. A lot of people pick whatever sounds good or whatever they think will make money without asking the more important question, where is there something missing that I'm uniquely positioned to fill? Wrong board equals hard mode for no reason in the game. And you've already been playing on hard mode for like 25 years in corporate. Let's not do that anymore. This is the level that almost stopped me. Full stop here. And I'd be willing to bet it's the one that's given more than a few of you serious pause too. Here's the thing about being 50 and starting a business. There are real gaps, not gaps in your experience or your expertise. Those are generally your advantage, but gaps in the technical stuff, websites, marketing, content, SEO, funnels, all the pieces of running an online business or whatever kind you want that weren't invented until after we were already deep in our careers. For me, the gap was AI. I didn't quite understand it. It felt like this overwhelming thing, constantly moving thing that already was behind on. And I'll be honest, it almost became the reason I didn't do this. And then I actually started using it. Here's the cheat code. AI is the great equalizer for all of us. Everything that's not your background, the website, the content, the marketing company, the social posts, the email sequences, the research, AI handles it. Not perfectly, not without your direction, but it fills the gap between what you're brilliant at and what you need to run a business. And it feels downstream, not like grinding through something hard, like getting help from a really fast, really capable assistant who never sleeps. It's very cool if you know what you're doing. And the common mistake here is thinking you have to become an expert in all of it or hire expensive specialists before you've made a single dollar. You don't. The cheat code exists. Most people just don't know how to look for it or how to use it. Okay. You know who your player is. You know which board you're on. You found your cheat code. You need to actually pick up your weapon. In Mario, and look, I know we talked about keeping this relatable, but Mario is universal. And Mario, the wrong power up for the level you're on, is basically useless. Like that fire flower doesn't help you underwater. Star power doesn't last. You need the right tool for what you're actually fighting on that level. Your offer is your power up. It's the specific concrete thing you're selling, and it needs to be designed for the exact problem your level 2 board has. And a mistake most people make here, building what sounds exciting to them instead of what the market is already trying to buy. You want to sell what people are already reaching for, and then be the best version of that thing they've ever seen. And here's a question worth sitting. What would someone on your board pay for tomorrow if it existed? That's usually your level 4 answer. Your offer isn't what you want to sell. It's what they're already trying to buy. All right. This is the one. This is where the game gets real. Everything up to this point, and I mean everything, is the tutorial. Level 5 is when the game actually starts. your first paying customer, the first person who looks at what you've built, pulls out their wallet and says, yes, I want that. And I want to be completely straight with you here. This is the level I'm on right now. I'm not talking about this from the other side. I'm in it, which means I understand in a very real and current way exactly what this level feels like. It feels like standing at the edge of the Oregon Trail, and you have to cross. You've got your wagon packed, and you're just standing there calculating the risk. Like, crap. And here's the honest truth about level 5: most people never pass it, not because they failed, but because they avoided it. I can relate to this one. And there's always one more thing to tweak, one more piece of content to make, one more course to take, anything to stay in the tutorial a little longer, because the tutorial feels safe and level 5 feels terrifyingly real. Don't back away. Everything before your first customer is just the tutorial. At some point, you have to start the actual game. You know the reason I keep talking about this stuff, about having a map, about knowing your levels, about not doing this alone, is because I built something specifically for the person watching this video. A year from now, you're either going to be in the same job, having the same like Sunday night dread and conversation with yourself, or you're going to be somewhere different. The corporate escape lab is what I built to make sure it's the second. It's a guided program for professionals 45 to 60 roughly who are done waiting and ready to actually build their escape with community, live coaching, and the exact systems I'm running through in real time. No theory if there's no flaw. Real execution. If you know you're ready, not someday ready, like actually ready. The link to apply is in the description, or you can go to corporateescapelab.com and there's more information. Okay, level 6. This one's my favorite. Okay, stay with me. This one's for the Mario people. In the original Super Mario Brothers, there were these hidden pipes, warp zones. And if you found them, you could skip entire worlds. So cool when you found that. You went from world 1 straight to world 4 or world 6 or world 8. You didn't grind through every single level. You found the shortcut and jumped ahead. And that's what systems kind of do. Level 6 is where you stop running everywhere on foot and start building the infrastructure that moves you faster without more effort. Email automations, content repurposing systems, onboarding processes, the things that happen without you having to personally do them every single time. This is where AI comes in again. And the common mistake, most people are so busy delivering, doing the work, serving clients, keeping things running, that they never build the systems that would actually free them up. And eventually they hit a ceiling and they can't scale, not because they're not good at what they do, because they're manually doing everything that a system could handle. It's not a business. It's a job within their own business. And if you're still with me at level 6, and thank you for that, by the way, most people click away around to level 3, which honestly tells me everything I need to know about who's actually going to make it through this thing and on the Oregon Trail. You're the kind of person who finishes the map. That matters. And systems don't replace your hustle. They multiply it. Anyone who grew up on a video game, which I think a lot of us did, knows the second controller rule. Some levels are just better with 2 players. Some levels you literally can't beat solo. So let's talk about level 7. Is where you build your team, your co-op players, the people you delegate to, partner with, or bring in to handle the things that aren't your highest use. And yes, you can use AI, but you're probably gonna need to be some people. And sure, these days, you can kind of do both, but people make a business, and the larger businesses just might need a few people. And look, I know this feels like a someday problem when you're still trying to figure out level 5 or level 3, but it's worth understanding it exists because the thinking starts now. You start noticing which parts of the game drain you and which parts energize you. You start thinking about who you want in the second player slot, the mistake, waiting too long, trying to solo every level indefinitely, thinking that asking for help is a sign you're not good enough. It's not. Every successful person you admire had help, and every single one. So solo players hit a ceiling every time. The business game was designed for co-op. And here it is. The end game, level 8, is the building the business so it runs without you stage. Now it runs a little bit without you. Actually runs. You're not the operator anymore. You're the owner. There's a huge difference. And it's the difference between building a second cage or building actual freedom. Most people never reach level 8. And I want to be honest about why. It's not because it's too hard. It's because somewhere around level 5 or 6, things started working and busy started feeling like winning. Revenue started coming in. The calendar got full. Woohoo. And they stopped asking the bigger question. You didn't leave corporate to build another job. You left to build a game you can eventually step back from. And let me say that again. You didn't leave corporate to build another job. You left to build a game you can step back from. And level 8 is where that actually happens. You didn't escape the cage to build a smaller one. Okay. So here's where I want this to land. Imagine waking up tomorrow and knowing, not guessing, not hoping, but knowing exactly which level you're on. Not feeling overwhelmed by the whole thing, but feeling oriented, having a map. That's all this framework does. It gives you a map. And here's the thing about extra lives that I think is actually the most important part of this whole conversation and video. Every entrepreneur you ever admired, every person who built something real, who made this leap and actually landed, they burned through a few lives along the way. They lost rounds. They made wrong turns. They hit level 3 and ran out of supplies when they went on the Oregon Trail. They lost a few things along the way, but they also found themselves too. The ones who made it weren't the ones who never lost a life. They were the ones who hit continue. You're not going to die of dysentery. You know the river crossing is coming now. You know the warp zones exist. You know which level you're starting on. You have the map. And if there's one thing I want you to really take away from this video, one thing, it's this. You're not too old. You're not too late. You're exactly on time. And you're starting at level 1 with 25 years of cheat codes already loaded, all right? You now have the 8-level map that nobody handed you when you first started thinking about this. Pick your player, choose your board, find your cheat code, grab your power up, get your first customer, find the warp zone, go co-op and beat the game. 2 things before you go though. 1, if you don't know which level you're starting on, if you haven't started, obviously you're on 1, but go take the free reset assessment I mentioned earlier. It's going to take you 5 minutes. It tells you exactly where you are. corporateescapelab.com/reset. Links in the description. 2, if you watch this whole video and you already know you're ready to stop thinking about it and actually start building, like go ahead and apply for the Corporate Escape Lab. Also in the description with that link. And next week, I'm doing a whole video specifically. I'm going to go through level 3 because it deserves its own conversation. I want to show you exactly what it looks like in practice. And if that one's useful to you, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. The game's already started. You're just learning the rules. I really appreciate you watching. I would love for you to subscribe. I'll like this. That helps get that out there. That goes a long way. And if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, as they say, a business is the missing link. It's going to be the answer to why you are here and the freedom you want. So why not try to figure it out? Play the game. See how far you can go. Looking forward to having you here. It's a fun journey. Let's do it.